So the next we have Gail Davidson. Gail is a retired lawyer, now a human rights advocate, working to promote understanding of compliance with international human rights law, and she writes and speaks on these issues and participates in advocacy, research, and education. Huge round of applause for Gail.
Hello everybody, thank you for being here. I just want to make a few brief comments about how alarming the Health Professions and Occupations Act is. I'm just going to call it the Act. The Act is dangerous to democracy, it's dangerous to rights, and in my opinion it singles the end of rights to deliver and rights to receive individualized health care in British Columbia. It ought not to be paused, it ought not to be amended, it has to be repealed, and it won't be repealed, as you can see from the yawns in the Legislative Assembly this morning when all those postcards were presented, unless more and more people learn how dangerous the statute is. Now, as Dr. Malthouse said, it was, and as you yourself said, it was passed improperly by the use of closure. Closure is a controversial time management tool to stop unnecessary debate. When the debate is gone on for so long, it's impairing the proper function of Parliament. It was, the use of it was corrupted to push through this bill in November when absolutely nobody, or almost nobody in the Legislative Assembly could possibly have understood any aspect of the Act. And we have to be asking all of the people currently supporting it a few questions about the Act. When Minister Dick says, oh no, there was unprecedented consultation, that we haven't received any confirmation of the details of that, but ask questions like, well, who was it who recommended, and what is the public purpose of some of, these are just some of the things that the Act does. Abolishes democratic governance, abolishes democratic lawmaking, criminalizes the lawful exercise of free speech when used within the context of a physician and a patient, criminalizes lawful freedom of expression when used by a healthcare provider to talk about issues of public concern that have to do with healthcare issues within the competence of that healthcare provider. Imposition of terrible penalties, including the summary lifting of a license to practice before the practitioner has received notice of a complaint and before a complaint has been heard. The imposition of criminal penalties of fines, $200,000. Those could be daily fines, by the way, every day. $500,000 fines for corporations and prison sentences, some up to 2 years in prison and some up to 6 years in prison. Now, the offenses, the misconduct offenses and the criminal offenses, the processes by which the offenses are determined and convictions are put in place, and the penalties are the kinds of provisions that you would expect to see in countries like Saudi Arabia and China. They're completely arbitrary and you can't really do anything about it. And we also want to ask what is the public purpose served by having a number of people, the Minister of Health, the Cabinet, a dizzying number of unspecified political appointees, and an emergency, when there's been a regional or a provincial emergency declared, the provincial health officer, accept into law under the Act in British Columbia any law enacted anywhere by any government or any rule adopted anywhere by any organization that adopts, any group or organization that adopts or sets rules. So that would mean, for instance, that the provincial health officer or some political appointee could adopt into law in British Columbia the international health regulations of the World Health Assembly, for instance. Now, also under the Act, there's many people who can mandate compulsory vaccination, non-consensual compulsory vaccination for any transmissible disease. Now, I'll leave it up to one of the medical specialists here to tell you whether there's hundreds or thousands of transmissible disease. These things aren't defined in the act, so.
Can you hold the mic a little closer,
boards-
please?
Am I I'm out of time? No.
Thank you.
Appointed members of boards can mandate vaccination. The provincial health officer can mandate vaccination during an emergency. The Minister of Health can mandate vaccination. Cabinet can adopt vaccine mandates from other, as I said, from anywhere in the world. The other issue that we want to be very, very concerned about is the cost for this burgeoning of administrators, of appointed administrators, all acting. You know, when Minister Dix talks about transparency, that's wicked to hear that talked about, when this ensures an absolute opaqueness of the administrative process. But what is going to be the cost of all these? The Act says that the government will at least temporarily bear the cost of the superintendent's office, but all the other costs will be borne by practitioners. So has anybody answered the question of what will be the increased cost? So I just want to say in closing, thank you for being here, and please do all that you can every day, every week, every month to say, stop the Health Professions and Occupations Act now.
Yes.